sorry, I have my eyes closed because it helps me focus and stay tuned into them because the energy is a little different today. So I think we're going to get something pretty interesting today. So my name is Kira Leskew. I am a professional psychic and serial entrepreneur. And what we're going to be doing on this call is obviously we're going to just give a few more minutes to allow people to come in because then we won't get interrupted with the ding, ding, ding. But I'm going to be doing in a channeled message. And then after that, I will be taking things that, and keep this related to business. And I love it best if it relates to you personally and your service contribution. But if you have other questions that relate to business, I have a feeling there's going to be stuff that's kind of more global that's going to be about stuff that's going on today. But yeah, I'll be taking questions through chat after we get started. So we'll just give it probably 2 more minutes or close to 2 more minutes here. And I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit so I make sure that I stay tuned in with the guide. Right now I feel like I'm focused in the 2 places. So. And, oh yes, and while I'm doing that, I'm just so excited to have you all here. So thank you for coming. Okay, so we're going to get started here. Probably there'll be other people joining. So Lisa, who's helping me in the background here, Lisa Ma, she will let them in, and she's awesome, and thank you so much for doing that. Well, things are really about to begin on planet Earth. People think that there have been tremendous changes so far. They're only getting started. And this is going to be a time of great shifts. This is going to be a time, and we are going to use the word disclosure. Disclosure is going to start happening. There are going to be public events that start taking place. We're going to give the time frame of approximately 6 weeks to 8 weeks. Many of you that are sensitive to energies know that things are shifting and changing. Some of you might feel tired. Some of you might feel clarity. Some of you might find that there are issues within you that you have to face in your own lives in order to really do what you came to do on this planet at this time. And not just at this time, but for the rest of the time that you'll be spending on this planet before you pass on into the higher dimensions. Yes, there is much going on right now behind the scenes. We are treading a thin line here with the amount that we can tell you, but we will tell you there will be things that are going to be released publicly that will be quite shocking. These will be in the areas of finances, of banking, of international relations, and they are going to have ripple effects throughout the world. We have been saying for a long time that the most important thing is to be on your own mission. We are doing these transmissions to the entrepreneurs, the ethical entrepreneurs, in order to get more of you on your mission. There has been huge distraction in the entrepreneurial, in the business community, especially those who were here to serve at this time. Some of you might call yourself light workers. Some of you might call yourself evolve. Some of you just might be interested in consciousness and your own personal development, and just honestly be sick and tired of the corruption and the negativity and the control paradigms that have governed and misaligned your planet for a very long time. This has mostly all been removed now, but it is up to you to create a better future reality. It is up to you to create the world how you want it to be. And there is much disinformation. There is much campaigning with regard to things that are going on in your planet that are completely unnecessary, that are being manifested to distract you from the time of accelerating consciousness, the time of healing on your planet. You cannot separate anymore healing, higher consciousness, spirituality from your work life. We are going to use the term work life, but it is business, it is government, it is any way in which you serve the greater good for which at your planet at this time you are trading your services for income or resources of some sort. And there are many things on this planet which are changing at this time with regard to resources, how exchanges are done with goods and services. We see that continuing definitely. But the most challenging thing that you will be dealing with over the next little while is going to be the changes and some public revelations over things that are corrupt, misaligned, but also of things that have been hidden for a very long time. And these are going to have massive ripple effects once they start. The energy is building for this now, and it is up to all of you to maintain your inner compass of alignment, to be focused on the world as you want it to be. Many people will be taught or told that this is something to be feared, that everything is going wrong, and that their way of life will never be the same. Well, that part of it is true. Their way of life will never be the same. It will be better. But there are many that are going to believe that this is a negative thing. It is not. It is clearing away of the old for the rebuilding of the new. One of the reasons why we are here at this time sharing through Kira is to help you be ready and prepared for the building of the new. You cannot build something new on something that is falling. You must build new from solid ground. You must build quickly. You must build the inner resources first. You must build your own consciousness first. For it is on this platform of a solid consciousness of a person who is refining themselves so that they are aware of their own inner disclosure that they need to make. Where are you hiding the truth from yourself? If you don't hide your truth from yourself, no one can lie to you. It is impossible. But there are many that are uncomfortable or hiding from knowing that their own inner truth. They're not paying attention. They know things on the inside to be true, but they're avoiding them. Some of these might be in personal relationships. They might be in business relationships. They might even be in the level of satisfaction and thrill of what you are deriving from your work life. If you are truly on the path that you are meant to be on, you will have to do effort. You will have to face things in yourself that are uncomfortable, but once you get to the other side of that, it gets quite easy. You can manifest at a massive level in a positive sense with very little to no negative consequences if you have done your inner work. This is the new minimum standard of what is required for business ethics and leadership ethics on planet Earth. They will not accept to have people in leadership positions or even running large companies that have not done the inner work and do not have a consciousness level and not acknowledge to a certain extent that spirituality is a part of everything on earth. This word might be uncomfortable. Kira would certainly be uncomfortable with us using that word, but it is the level of ethics that is required. You must understand that you are accountable, not just to each other, but there is a higher level of accountability that you all have, and this must be done in business. And this is where the disclosure is going to happen. There will be many things where the ethics are really, really lacking, and where there is even stuff, we will go as far to use the word abuse. So We welcome your questions now. We look forward to helping you move forward on your own personal journeys to bring about the changes that this planet is ripe for at this time, and that we are so excited to watch you and help you to the extent that we can to unfold more rapidly. Okay, let me see what we've got for questions here. Thanks for everybody for sharing where you're at. So, okay, so what do we have for questions? So I'm going to be like channeling answers. We'd like to keep them either on business in general or on what your own personal mission is or what you need to do next with regard to business. So I'm seeing lots of hellos, and hello to everyone, Patrick, Michael, Leah, Lisa. So what questions do people have that they want to know right now? Just put them in chat. All right, I've got one here from Lisa. Am I on mission? Lisa, you have made much progress in this regard. You are starting to understand that the mission is bigger than you ever imagined. More importantly, you're starting to understand that you must face things within yourself and do the inner work to remove the barriers to seeing things clearly that you have had not only for this life, but many other incarnations. We see you making tremendous progress in this regard. We encourage you to keep up your practice, for you will only be able to attain what you're capable of in this mission if you continue your personal practice of development that you are working on and continue to grow that. You are capable of doing multiple missions at the same time, as are many, but it's important that you get one completed at a time, or that you get one grounded into and delegated so that it can take off in terms of growth before you start planting too many seeds. Who else we got here? What are the guides saying in terms of Clubhouse being equal and equitable platform? We have great concerns with regards to Clubhouse. We are seeing great addiction taking place. We are seeing people drop in consciousness level as they're on Clubhouse. We understand, especially with a lot of entrepreneurs that are having concerns with other large social platforms, and we will call out names here, mainly Facebook. People seem to not like the ethics. We agree that Facebook might not make it. They might. We see great issues with regards to Clubhouse. We see addictive behavior happening there. We see people that are misrepresenting themselves there. And we see a lot of codependent behavior happening there. We also see that there are many people that are going there that are looking for, they're really seeking guidance. They are very vulnerable. The challenge that Clubhouse has is that you really don't know who you're talking to. And for most of you, you do not have the psychic skills to discern what is this person really about. There are also some very greatly ethical people there that on Clubhouse that are trying to serve. But the biggest challenge is the addiction factor, and this is intentional. It was set up intentionally to be an addictive platform. The people that have designed it know that. And for many, it is taking them off of their mission, not only their service missions, but their spiritual missions. We see people losing their consciousness level as a result of the amount of time they're spending on Clubhouse. We also see that many that are interested in consciousness are getting caught up in having discussions and having fights and failing to address their own personal practice. The only way you can develop your consciousness is through doing your own personal practice. Yes, you can share with others. Yes, you can discuss with others, but it is impossible to have the progress that you need at the speed that's required on planet Earth if you are ignoring your own progress. Okay, awesome. Let's see, what else? What other questions do you have, guys? What's the best source or platform for ethical entrepreneurs? Honestly, it depends on the communities you're intending to serve. Everything is consciousness based, and this is something, or consciousness level based. So there are different levels of consciousness. There are light workers here that are meant to have as a main audience different levels of consciousness. So the best platform is the one where you can connect with and find the people that are in the level of consciousness that you're at, but that are also on your mission. For some of you, this is Facebook. For some of you, this is LinkedIn. For some of you, this is YouTube. For some of you, this is Hub. For some of you, this may even be Clubhouse, although we just put it down. There are many other platforms out there. We still find people that are getting messages out on Twitter. There is still the need to have things in major media, in mainstream media. There are many ways in which you can spread your messages. The most important things that you need to address are, first of all, what is the consciousness level of the people that I need to talk to, that I need to work with, that are my audience or my company's audience? For many of you are not just thought leaders, but you are building companies. We're going to use that word, but we're going to call organizations that are business organizations that are meant to serve as groups. So you must look at what are people listening to and make sure that you're on things where they're listening, but where you're protecting yourself as well. The truth is that any social media platform can become addictive, some more than others. So we hope this helps. Let us know if you need any follow-on answers to that one. What else have you got here? Maybe share more. We can tell you it will be in the area of finances. We can tell you that it will have global effects. We can tell you that it will involve major world currencies, and we can tell you that it will involve major world governments. The thing you need to take into consideration and to know is that for leadership going forward in the future, you must have a consciousness level that is of service first, and you must have dealt with a large amount to most of your own personal, we're going to use the word karma, but there is a better word, your own personal blind spots, your own personal agendas. You must really be clear to be of these old paradigms and be actively working on them in order to be of service going forward. So there will be much, there will also be public events where we are going to say there's going to be, in some cases, disgracing of people that are public leaders of businesses. There will be many that you will not hear of, unfortunately, because it will be too overwhelming for the public. So there will be many leaders that are just disappearing. We see this happening first in the financial area, but there is some room that it could happen larger businesses or government first. Okay. Okay, so I have a personal question. How is, this is for Patrick, how is it best to authentically connect with the businesses and practices that he thinks he needs to right now? First of all, we would like to say that you're only about 1/3 on your mission right now, and You require further development and refinement, and that is the bigger challenge for you in terms of connecting with these people. You have to do further inner work in order for you to be able to have that level of discernment. We do see that this is going to be a longer sales cycle for you, and it's going to require a lot of relationship development. And we do see doing this in the real world. We know over the short term, you might think that that might seem like a very challenging thing to do. So in the short term, we would suggest connecting with people at events where you can be introduced, or some sort of networking event. We also see, to a certain extent, like doing networking professionally on something such as LinkedIn, but there might be other ways or other platforms that are more specific, possibly like industry specific, where you can connect with people. But we don't really see this taking off in this aspect until you've done more inner work and until you have gotten into communities where you're going to events that are specific to the industry. We feel that that is the best one for you at this time, although we would encourage you greatly to start nurturing relationships and tuning in deeper with your own practice so that you can get more accurate about what your full mission is, because it's right area, but not necessarily the right, it's not full. It needs to be more fleshed out and developed for you to understand how this relates, or even if it's the right thing for you. Okay, what else have we got here? These are great questions, by the way. Okay, there seems to be, okay, so it seems to be unusual climate and weather patterns right now. What's happening? Can people do more on this planet? Well, unfortunately, most of the disruption in your weather patterns has been reduced and eliminated from the things that were happening from an intentional technology side. There is some residue left over from that, but what is also happening at this time is that the Earth herself is going through deep changes, and she is trying to balance herself the best way that she can. This is made so much more difficult due to the fact that people are getting so misaligned through all of the erroneous information and the propaganda that is being put out at you, and through not doing their own inner work to reduce the stress and the overwhelm and the anxiety, the mental health issues. You're failing, many of you, to understand the relationship between what you are manifesting and where you're putting your focus on. When you are watching news, when you are watching things that are going wrong, when you are watching, even on social media, things that are wrong, and you're not taking the time to give yourself the time out and give yourselves the clarity you need to fix the problems in your own life, not from a place of overwhelm, not from a place of burnout, not from a place of stress or anxiety. These things are actually manifesting on your planet as weather changes and other negative things in your society. So these things need to be fixed, and a certain amount of it is due to the balancing as well. So if you can get as many people as possible to get into a higher positive state within your own community, and this is done all over the world, then this will greatly reduce a lot of the negativity with regards to weather patterns, and it will solve a ton of other problems as well that are coming down the pipeline because people's overall collective consciousness has dropped compared to where it was at a year ago. So, okay, here's a great one here. Any suggestions on decision fatigue? What you would call decision fatigue, we would actually call burnout. The adult population, and this is one of the biggest things that needs to be fixed on your planet right now, 80% of the population on your planet is burnt out. and they're not recognizing the symptoms. This is the #1 problem that needs to be addressed to fix most of the other problems. People cannot follow their intuition. They cannot follow what they are supposed to be doing. They can't even make good decisions based on the facts that they have in front of them. And their health patterns are massively out of whack. So if you have to work with someone in a specific case that has to make a decision, honestly, you might have to lead them through a process for them to de-stress, detox themselves, and get their minds focused. This is actually a relatively easy thing to do. It's something that's part of Kira's mission to do. She loves doing what she's doing today. This is not part of her mission for the most part. But getting people to intentionally change their mental, emotional, physical state, which can be done in short term if you know the proper techniques in as little as 10 minutes. And the burnout problem can be overcome entirely in people in 5 to 8 weeks with the right level or the right series or progression of techniques. Unfortunately, if people don't do this, they will not recover without a time out. And by time out, we mean no stress, no anxiety, and no work for 10 to 13 months. For some people, they will never recover their mental and emotional capacity without further intervention. And by that, we don't mean therapy. We mean using meditation-like techniques, which will reset their nervous system so that they can access the parts of their brain that are related to positive thinking and slowing down enough that they can actually focus. We believe that's what you're actually seeing is part of what burnout, which is on the scale of anxiety and stress, is the fight or flight or fear response gets so turned on in the body that people are panicked. They look from thing to thing to thing to thing, and they can't focus. And this results in them not being able to make a decision because they literally, in their nervous system, cannot prioritize whatsoever what is important, what is needed, what needs to be done. It all just seems like a massive blur. And unfortunately, sleep isn't enough to fix this. It needs intervention. Okay, I have time for one more question here if anyone has one. All right, I think that's a wrap then for today. So awesome questions, guys. Thank you so much. Next week, I'm going to be doing it a little different. Please share this. We're going to be putting this up on replay. It'll be up on Hub by Wednesday. We have a YouTube channel where we're putting the replays on, and it will be up by Wednesday as well. We're creating a LinkedIn group where the replay will be up by Wednesday. Please share with all ethical entrepreneurs to get them on mission. Next week, I'm going to be doing as many people as I can. What percent or what sort of low, medium, high, totally on where you're at for your mission. I will be taking other questions as well, but we're going to put the priority on getting entrepreneurs to understand how much they're on their mission compared to what they think they are. Because a lot of people think they're on mission and they're not. I even went through this last year. I thought I was completely on my mission. And actually it was about 18 months ago, and then I was running into some challenges and I'm like, why is this so hard? And they said, you're not on mission. You think you are, but you're avoiding what you really came here to do. And as soon as I did that, then things started getting a lot easier for me. And then they said, you need to start sharing this with other people because 90% of the entrepreneurs aren't on mission right now for what the earth needs to go through all these rapid changes. So thank you. I appreciate all the love from all of you. I appreciate all your thanks. I appreciate you listening today. And again, a special shout out to Lisa Ma for helping me on this to, first of all, to get you all here. And second of all, to manage the letting people in and out of the room. So have an amazing week, everybody. We are doing this every week for at least the rest of this year. And as long as people are listening and getting help out of this, I will continue to do this Sundays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So have a beautiful week, everybody. Meditate, stay on mission, and keep the faith. And remember, this is all happening for our good, even when it looks challenging. So happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you.